if you are a creative person or you have a small creative business. I think this plan could be a really good starting point if you don't normally have goals set. Hey friend, welcome back to my channel, or if you're new, welcome. My name's Jeff. I'm an artist, illustrator, and maker. Today, I'm going to be taking you through how I plan out my goals for each year. This is the 4th year that I've used this template, and each year it slightly evolves as I change and my arts practice change. And I think that's the best part of the way that I do it, is that it gives me the chance to allow it to evolve with me. If you are a creative person or you have a small creative business, I think this plan could be a really good starting point if you don't normally have goals set. I find it's really helped me to not feel overwhelmed as the year goes on, and it also allows me to track things as well and readjust things as my year rolls out and my life inevitably changes, projects come in, motivation is lost, motivation is gained, and the process that I've got for keeping on track of my goals is flexible, and I just wanted to share it, and hopefully it might be useful to other people as well. So let's get into it. I've said in many videos that it's really important to reflect, and for me, building in time to reflect on whether it's an art project, how a client project has gone, if I'm enjoying what I'm doing for work, whatever it is, I think it's really important to build in times to reflect on what has happened and what I'm wanting to do moving forward and staying really proactive. I found it really great to be able to look back and actually take time to celebrate the wins that I've had and the success that I've had, or the projects I have done. So the first thing that I will always do is break down my goals into 3 different types of hats that I wear. This is also something that I've discussed in the past. So the way that I like to look at my existence and life as a person is that there is person Jeff, creative Jeff, and business Jeff. These are the 3 types of roles that I have in my life as a full-time freelancer. And so I like to have goals for each of those hats that I wear, because it's really helping me to create more of work-life balance. I used to only really do creative goals, so things like artworks I wanted to do, or doing group art exhibitions, or learning a new skill, those kinds of things. And I very quickly realized that by only having goals for the creative me, it meant that the other parts of my life were being neglected, and my work-life balance was pretty crappy. So now having personal goals for things that I want to do, like go on holidays or getting tattoos, reading more books, things that I want to do for me as a person, has really allowed me to not neglect person me and not focus too much on the business side of my life. My creative goals are things like wanting to do new artworks or learn new creative skills or do group shows and things like that. And then business goals are anything revolving around maintaining or growing my business. So in the past, it's been things like creating a newsletter that I send out to my clients like quarterly. It could be building a mailing list. It could be updating my website. It could be reworking my online shop and making sure that I have like new drops every 6 months. Things that are really going to grow my business, posting more on LinkedIn, all the kinds of things that are going to help grow my business. And when I partner that with the creative goals and my personal goals, it means that I've got much more chance of having a better work-life balance. And that has been the goal for me for the past 10 years, is creating a life that I'm really enjoying and not feeling overwhelmed or pressure to be making and feeling like I'm on a hamster wheel all the time. So for you, maybe it is to write down all the different hats that you wear within your business or in your life, and then writing goals for each of those and seeing what you come up with. The next part is when I started to realize that a lot of my goals were initially not goals. They were more like an intention. And for me, understanding the difference was a big game changer. So the way that I like to think about it is that a goal has the ability to be ticked off and you know straight away if you have achieved it or not. And a lot of the times that means it is having a number or a quantity attached to it. So an intention might be, I would like to exhibit more next year in group shows. It's really hard to know what more group shows is and if I have done that. So I see that as an intention. The way that I turn that into a goal is to give it a number. So saying next year I want to be a part of 2 group shows, one in Sydney, one in Melbourne. And that makes it really easy for me to know if I achieve it or I don't, and sort of what is the quantifiable metric for it. Some other intentions versus goals are intention, I want to expand my mailing list. Goal, I want to get 50 more people onto my mailing list who are from the art gallery world. I want to collaborate with my friends. I want to do 2 photo shoots with some local photographers that are showcasing my wearable artworks. So once I have written down my goals or intentions, or just my thoughts on what I want to achieve for my personal, creative and business life, I then go through and I work out if they are written as a goal or if they are an intention that needs to be turned into a goal. I will then condense it down to 2, sometimes 3 for each column, because I think that is more than enough for a year. And if I end up being really productive and getting them all ticked off, I can always go back to my list of other things. And more often than not, I don't actually complete them all anyway. So I think having 2 to 3 for each hat is totally more than enough. When I'm writing my goals, I use Notion for the sort of brains and everything for my business life and kind of personal life as well. Just everything I use Notion for. Getting everything out of my head and onto a piece of paper is something that takes a lot of time when I'm thinking of my goals. I like to give myself at least about a month or so to really think about it. Once it becomes time to formalize this, I will create 3 columns and put all my goals into the lists. And then from this point, I'll move over to my Google Drive, which is where I have my calendar template, which is something that I have spoken about in one of my previous videos as well. And I start to create a 12-month calendar for my goals. For most things, I tend to break down my year into quarters, just because I think that is a simple thing to go by. And then I just start to plot in all my goals into different quarters until I kind of get to a point where I'm like, okay, this is the limit of what I could possibly achieve in those times, because I have to think that I will also have client work and general life things that happen. So it's kind of just like a guide, not rules. Once I've put all my goals into my calendar, I will then go, okay, for this first quarter, I want to achieve this goal. And I'll break it down into things that I could achieve in each month. And then from each month, I can then break it down to what could I achieve in each week or each fortnight, or do it all in one chunk at the start of the month and then do nothing until the next month. And then so I've taken this goal and turned it into weekly actionable tasks, which just really sets my mind at ease. I don't feel overwhelmed, and then I can just go, okay, what am I doing this month? Oh, I'm just worrying about approaching the photographer I want to work with, or I'm just making the canvases that I want to paint onto, or I'm just building out the website in behind the scenes onto a mind map. And I will just do this for all of my goals until my calendar is full, and then I let the year roll out. And if I need to tweak things, if I need to move things around, if I didn't allow enough time for things, I can easily shuffle it around. And that is the other part that is okay. Life happens. I also sometimes change my mind and I no longer want to do things. And having a digital calendar that is 12 monthly and having everything plotted out on there has made it very easy for me to change things up and not feel like I am throwing everything out the window, or it doesn't feel too hard. So that's how I plan out my goals each year. Hopefully that's given you some tips on how you could approach it yourself. Remember, this is just my way of doing it. It's not the only way of doing it. You might think that was not helpful at all. You could only take one or two things out of it. That is totally fine. If you have a different way that you like to work, I'm always open to and love to hear how people do it and learning new ways and systems and things. So totally feel free to share that with me. I'll also have listed below a few videos where I've spoken about my calendar and how I planned that out, as well as talking about goal setting in a previous video that I have put up maybe about a year ago. So they'll be listed below. In the past, I've shared all of my goals on the channel as a way to sort of hold myself accountable, to just share my process, and also in particular for my creative goals, share what I'm wanting to achieve, because you just never know when that might align with someone else who's watching it. And if I don't say it out loud, how are they going to know that I want to do this? And so it can sometimes manifest the goals actually happening or connecting with the right people. This year, I'm just going to share with you my 3 creative goals and keep my business and my personal stuff to myself, just because they are sort of rolling on from previous years and there's nothing sort of majorly new that I'm adding to them, and my creative goals are updated. So here they are. My first creative goal is that I want to do at least 3 new artworks that allow me to explore the fine art side of my arts practice and sort of see what point of view I have in that space. And the artworks could be like paintings that are on canvases, or I'm open to one of them being a sculptural work that is continuing to explore the giant stems that I did in previous videos as well, which are just down there, just there. The second thing is that I want to do a collaboration or start a pretty good relationship with someone to do inflatables. I've done a lot of work in the past for events and parties and activations, and there are a lot of limitations to building things and just engineering stuff and having the space to build the stuff and having to make things that are really big and then transporting them, and there's just a lot that goes into physical builds for activations. And I think inflatables are a really nice entry point into really accessible things that I could just set up at an event, plug in, blow up, and then pack it down and take it back to my studio. I do know a few people who do inflatables in their arts practice, and we've spoken about doing collaborations in the past, and so I just want to lean in and actually have those chats and try and create one prototype of one of my artworks as an inflatable piece that could then be further explored down the track. The third goal is another further exploration of something that I've done over the past year, and that is to make a more refined wearable art piece using my cardboard fabrication technique, but making it less, costumey and more of a wearable garment. So I want to make a t-shirt and a dress. I've got some rough styles of what I think they can look like in my head, and I have a friend who I want to collaborate with, and we've spoken about this collaboration as well. So it's another case of just actually doing it. And so I want to make these 2 wearable art pieces that I'll photograph with a friend, and I want to work with one of my stylist friends to do the photo shoot. So it's lots of collaborations in this one project, but with the end result having some photos of these wearable art pieces that are not only portfolio pieces, but it also allows me to potentially connect with other editorial potential clients to get my work into publications, to maybe do collaborations with other people in sort of the fashion space. There's some art competitions that I'd love to be able to enter with these pieces. There's just lots of potential for these pieces to create more opportunities in the future, and I really have always wanted to make wearable cardboard pieces that I can, wear to a party, or maybe get a commission from someone for one of their own, or getting a performer asking to wear it for one of their performances somewhere. And it's just something that I need to scratch the itch of, and I know that where the fabrication technique is sitting at the moment, it's got the potential to move into that space really easily. I know the process, I just have to do it. So that is my third goal. And so that is the end of this video. Hopefully you found the first section helpful in some way. I'm always open to answering questions. If you have any, let me know what you think in the comment section below. If you think this is helpful, I'd love to hear it, or if you want to share it with a friend, I'd also love that as well. I am on Instagram too and LinkedIn, so if you want to add me, the details are in the show notes below. And other than that, I'm going to say have a great end of the year, and I'll see you in the new year and have fun. Bye.